You're making me crazy. Yeah!
And the Wrestling's For Real podcast is on the air. Hello everyone, I am your host, Scott, coming to you each and every week to discuss the week that was in pro wrestling. Let's just get right into it. Raw comes to you live this week from an undisclosed location. I don't recall whether or not they said where they were. It was definitely not in the opener. We started out with a recap of the incident from last week with John Cena, Zack Ryder, and Kane, with Kane crawling out of his rape hole and shooting fire out of it. Be honest with you, I'm already bored with the Cena-Kane feud. It can't end quick enough for me. Speaking of which, Kane comes to the ring in our first segment. Cuts a very long Kane promo, much like he did a year and a half ago or so when he was world champion. Those were pretty brutal. Continues to tell Cena to embrace the hate. Cena runs out and a brawl ensues. They fight all over the arena, all through the backstage. To the outside, Kane proceeds to throw Cena into a pile of trash, over which Cena appears to begin vomiting all over.
He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!
At which point, Cena looks up from the trash to only find that Kane has completely disappeared. This fight took place on a loading dock in the back of the arena, and unfortunately this isn't the last that we're going to see of this little scene out here. Stay tuned for that one, folks. As we come back, we hit the ring. We have the hot tag match of Sheamus and Santino versus Wade Barrett and Jinder Mahal, who still has a job. I have no idea why Jinder Mahal. This match goes about 3 minutes. Santino with the Cobra and pins Mahal. That's all we really need to know about this one. We go backstage to find The Miz asking Johnny Laurinaitis for his own personal security. Laurinaitis tells him that it's not his problem. He's not little Jimmy, he's Big Johnny. Gross. Alright. Ace tells Miz that he's free to find his own security, but it's not his problem. And then we come to... this is one of my favorite things every week leading up to WrestleMania, is when we get to find out who the Hall of Fame class is going to be. So they start raising the question, who's going to be the first inductee in the class of 2012? That's kind of funny, though, because I'm pretty sure that a few months back they announced on their website that Mil Mascaras was the first inductee. But, hey, what are you going to do? We come back from break, and we find out that this year, the Hall of Fame will become rated R. That's right. Edge is going into the Hall of Fame this year, and I don't have a problem, per se, with Edge going into the Hall of Fame. I don't particularly like when they take guys and put them right in the Hall of Fame right after they retire. I think they're kind of screwing themselves in the long run. They find themselves, I think, scrambling to find a headliner each year. And I think pretty soon they're going to run out of headliners. They're taking all their younger guys. I mean, Michaels definitely belongs to be in the Hall of Fame. Did he need to go in the year after he retired? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not in charge. I'm not a billionaire. I didn't mold and shape a global phenomenon called the WWE, so what do I know? We go backstage to find The Miz trying to enlist his personal security. He's talking to Mason Ryan, who basically just laughs in his face. Another backstage segment, we see Zack Ryder on the phone with his dad. He's clearly scared, freaked out by what happened with Kane the week before. In walks Eve, and Zack Ryder gets tough on the phone, proceeds to ask her out, and I'm so mad that we have Zack Ryder involved in a love storyline. This is really just not making me happy. This kid has worked his ass off for the past year to finally get a spot and get matches on Raw. He wins a title, and now he's immediately shoved down the card again. This is definitely a step down. He's U.S. champion, but he's in an angle with Eve Torres, for Christ's sakes. This is not befitting all the hard work that this kid did. And I really hope this isn't what's going to take place for the coming year for Zack Ryder. You can see that Zack Ryder senses something in the back. He's freaked out. He walks off with Eve, and we come to find out that Kane is hiding. He's lurking in this utility closet, and this begins the horror movie known as Monday Night Raw. As we go on, we find apparently there was a online video of Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. There's been a friendly challenge, champion versus champion. Kofi seems to have taken exception to the way that Bryan won his match against the Big Show the previous SmackDown. Anyway, this match lasts about 2 minutes, right into the LeBell Lock. Bryan wins, continues his celebration, screaming, yes, yes, jumps on the table. This is hilarious. This kid just keeps celebrating like he's won the belt at WrestleMania, which unfortunately that did not get to happen. Speaking of which, why is Mark Henry still running around wrestling every week? I thought he was hurt, and this is why they took the belt off him in the first place. It's just, I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this, but the heel turn is on for Daniel Bryan, and it's going to be a good thing. Big Show comes down to interrupt Daniel Bryan's little celebration and proceeds to tell Daniel Bryan that he has a rematch coming up at the following SmackDown. Bryan says how he hated the way the match ended, wishes it hadn't ended in DQ, and Big Show says, well, that's lucky for him because Teddy Long has made the match no DQ, no countout for the world title at SmackDown. And Daniel Bryan looks like he took a dump in his pants. And then we get the reminder that Jericho will be live tonight. Is he going to talk? We had his shenanigans last week. He ran around with his, come on, baby! And he's high-fiving everyone and taking the camera and running around with a shit-eating grin. He likes to reinvent himself every time he comes back, and he's definitely doing something different. Let's just stay tuned for that one. Up next, the hot debut of Brodus Clay. And I'm looking at the dressing room door, and there's a sign with his name on it that has a friggin' disco ball on it. And I'm asking myself why. And I'm thinking there's no way this could possibly come into play with his debut, because I'm certain that he's been repackaged as an unstoppable monster heel. So let's see what happens with that. We come back from break. We get a Royal Rumble recap from the 1994 Royal Rumble, which was held in Providence, Rhode Island, with yours truly in attendance. This was the one where Bret Hart and Lex Luger went over the top at the same time, hit the floor at the same time. This was the first and only tie in the Royal Rumble. We had two winners that led to WrestleMania, where we had these couple of matches with Yokozuna and led to Bret regaining the title. So here we go with the hot, highly anticipated re-debut of Brodus Clay. And let me just give you a little audio on this one.
The following contest is set for one fall. Ladies and gentlemen, after weeks of anticipation, finally landing on Monday Night Raw, from Planet Funk, weighing 375 pounds, please welcome the Funkasaurus, Brodus Clay.
Now, I don't know if you guys caught that or not. That sound in the background was a zero crowd reaction. The crowd actually seemed pissed. I was pissed. Justin Roberts seemed like he couldn't even believe that he had to do this introduction. Kurt Hawkins was definitely pissed at ringside. You hear Brodus Clay say to Hawkins, "Oh, you didn't see that coming." Yeah, I don't think anyone saw that coming. I don't think anyone knew what was going to happen here. The crowd was pissed. This horrible Flash Funk entrance and Ernest the Cat Miller's old music. I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole thing was funny, but I'm hearing people say that this was amazing and it was so great, and it's beyond me. His finishing maneuver, for Christ's sakes, is a crossbody block. And the dancing and his gross package and his tight red singlet. Ah, man. I mean, it was kind of funny. You had a couple of good lines from him.
Oh, you didn't see that coming.
What the? Well, I didn't see that coming. That was funky.
I mean,
Funky is on a roll.
Hawkins didn't see it coming either. Finally. Well, what?
Well, like Hawkins was going to try to get a little funky himself. Huh?
I like all the gyrations. Not bad. What is he doing?
My bad.
The best is you hear the guy in the crowd scream out, "You suck, Brodus." That's just great. I love the stuff that the camera mics pick up sometimes. Anyway, so everyone was really looking forward to this debut, and everyone's been saying how much potential this kid has, and that still may be true. What I'm hoping for is that this whole gimmick thing is going to work out for this kid in the long run, as far as, he's doing what the company asked of him. Because you got to remember, after all, even Stone Cold Steve Austin was once the ringmaster. So I think once this whole gimmick plays out, he'll finally be able to be a monster heel and hopefully do some good things in this business. We need some really good young talent, and because guys are just retiring left and right the last couple of years. So once again, we go to a backstage segment. We find Zack Ryder in the bathroom brushing his teeth. And once again, Zack Ryder thinks he senses something. He feels like something's in the room. He's all bugged out. He's nervous. And you kind of see Kane lurking behind him in the mirror. So this becomes an ongoing thing. Kane's like being creepy and stalking Zack Ryder. So once again, we find The Miz in the back trying to enlist some personal security, talking to Epico and Primo. Rosa basically just tells him off in Spanish. CM Punk passes by on his way to the ring, just looks at him and laughs him off. I think these two are going to cross paths, probably maybe by Elimination Chamber. I could see that being the title match once Miz is done with his R-Truth feud. So we come back from break, and it's CM Punk versus Jack Swagger in a non-title match. Before we can get started, John Laurinaitis interrupts, says that if Punk wins, Swagger and Vicky Guerrero will be banned from ringside at the Royal Rumble. Laurinaitis also tells us that later tonight, Dolph Ziggler will be facing John Cena. Laurinaitis spends the entire match texting at ringside. I don't know why this is still an ongoing thing with him. It's way out of control with the texting. And every segment, at the end of every segment with Laurinaitis, he's got to be texting somebody. I hope that it's eventually going to come out that it is someone he's texting, not like the long forgotten anonymous Raw general manager bit that wasted a year of our lives. So, you know, this was a good match. Punk really doesn't have any bad matches. There's a nice suicide dive in front of the announce table. And the finish is the ref obviously screwed up this finish. Punk goes up for the Macho Elbow, hits Swagger. Swagger clearly kicks out at 2.5. The referee hits the mat 3, doesn't wave it off. He rings the bell, and you can tell this wasn't supposed to be the finish because as soon as Swagger kicks out, mind you, the ref has hit the mat at this point for 3, but Swagger kicks out. Punk immediately stops going for the Anaconda Vice, which I believe that was supposed to be the finish. But, no, the ref says he counted 3. Punk looks a little pissed off, but then tries to stay in character and celebrate a little bit that he won the match. And John Laurinaitis applauds from the ring apron. Rumor has it that this is eventually going to lead to some sort of physical confrontation between Punk and Laurinaitis. They're trying to build off of the whole McMahon Stone Cold thing. There's no way they're going to touch that, but I guess for this day and age, this is as close as they can get, unless, you know, you want to see CM Punk beat the crap out of a 64-year-old Vince McMahon. Backstage, Cena and Ryder are talking. Cena proceeds to tell Ryder how he has just passed Miz on Twitter. He's one of the top 5 most followed superstars in the WWE. So why in the blue hell are you putting this guy in a storyline with Eve Torres? It aggravates me. We come back from break to find the Bellas talking to Ricardo Rodriguez in the back. The Miz comes along and threatens Ricardo into making racist comments to draw out R-Truth. We then get our next Hall of Fame inductee package. We find out it's going to be the 4 Horsemen. This came as a surprise because, as we all know, Ric Flair is still under contract with TNA. They had rumored doing the Horsemen, I want to say last year because of Atlanta, or they were at least going to do Arn Anderson and a bunch of other WCW guys. But this is a really interesting choice for Hall of Fame induction. Also very interesting that they chose Barry Windham over Ole Anderson, because it will be Flair, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and Barry Windham and J.J. Dillon going in as the Horsemen. I don't know why Ole's not involved in this, but maybe they wanted to get Barry in because he's sick. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, to see if Flair makes the show or not. I get a feeling that he's just going to do it and worry about the repercussions from TNA later. I don't think he's going to miss a chance to be involved with the Horsemen getting inducted. So anyway, we go to the ring and Ricardo Rodriguez is calling out R-Truth. Truth comes out, plays along with the what chant, tells the fans, "Don't you what me," then says, "Okay, what me." It was a pretty cool moment. Says he's a good R-Truth. This was hilarious. He makes Ricardo Rodriguez sing La Cucaracha, and Ricardo does a little chicka chicka remix to the La Cucaracha song. It was pretty funny. Miz jumps out of the crowd, puts a beat down on Truth, and the bottom line is Truth is just insane. He's crazy. I love his work right now. I don't mind that they turned him back babyface because he's still Crazy R-Truth. I think he's a really underrated talent. Maybe not supposed to be in main events. I mean, they really only gave him one pay-per-view shot in a main event with Cena, and they gave it a horrible finish, and I don't think they really gave him a fair shot at all. I'd like to see Truth move back up to the main event pretty soon. And now, up next, we find out that Chris Jericho will be live, and he'll speak to the WWE Universe. And we get a really awesome Chris Jericho intro from Justin Roberts, complete with mention of the fact that Jericho was the first and only guy to ever beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night to become the first ever undisputed WWE champion. That's just such an asshole move to throw that intro out there. Such a good heel. I'm so glad that he's going to stay heel. So Jericho comes out, same thing as the week before. Big shit-eating grin, slapping high fives to the fans, his same, come on, baby, over and over again, running around the ring, smiling. 30 seconds in, I realized that Jericho is not going to speak. He pretends to get all choked up, fake cries, and leaves the ring and goes to the back. And I'm pissed. This is going to go on for weeks, and I really don't want it to just go on without him talking. He needs to do something. I know he will, but it's a little annoying. Anyway, we come back from break. We have another Royal Rumble recap from 1998, where the winner was Stone Cold, and I believe this is the one where Stone Cold goes on to have what would be Shawn Michaels' last match for 4 or 5 years at WrestleMania in Boston. And now we have a Divas match, which was advertised to be Beth Phoenix versus Eve Torres. Eve is in the ring, waiting for Beth's entrance. Kane's music hits, the pyro goes off. Eve runs out with Zack Ryder. They try to escape. They go out the back into the rental car, and there's a flat tire. This is ridiculous, because this whole horror movie scenario, Kane keeps showing up and stalking Ryder all night. It's pretty terrible, and Eve Torres' acting is horrible. Zack Ryder screws this up too, because he's trying to change a flat tire. This kid doesn't even realize that, first of all, you need to put the jack under the car first. He just starts taking the lug nuts off, and it just looks bad on television. We come back from break and learn that next week Zack Ryder will defend the U.S. title against Jack Swagger, and I get a little nervous because I know that they're a little upset about the ratings lately, and they're trying to blame Ryder, and it's not Ryder, it's the damn writers, it's the creative team. Come up with something good. Let guys be themselves again. Don't try to script everything. You're not going to get your next breakout star by scripting every damn thing. You didn't script Stone Cold, you didn't script The Rock. You need to let guys' natural characters come out and then turn the volume way up like you used to. Anyway, so we go around back, and Ryder's still trying to change the tire. We cut to the ring. Cena versus Ziggler. It's pretty predictable. Cena can see on the Tron that Kane has found Zack Ryder. Kane beats up Ryder, and this is just one of the most terrible botched stunts that I've seen in a long while. So they're on this loading dock that I was talking about before, where Kane and Cena were fighting, and Kane goes to chokeslam Ryder off the side of the dock, which I assume would be about 6 to 8 feet above ground level. Chokeslams him off the side. You think he's gone. You think he's on the ground. No, you proceed to see Ryder's shoulder come up as he's rolling over on his side. So they had something about a foot or two below the top of this dock that they chokeslammed him on. Then he rolls over and you can see it. It wasn't even that it was bad camera work. It was the fact that the thing wasn't low enough and Ryder moved. It just came across really shitty and totally unbelievable. Cena leaves the ring, goes and finds Kane. They battle a little bit. Kane ends up laying out Cena on the side of the dock, right over where Ryder got chokeslammed. And the camera pans down, and this is horrible because now you see Ryder is down on ground level, laid out on the pallets that he was supposed to have been chokeslammed onto, and he's just, he's selling the fact that he was chokeslammed off of this thing, and we all know full well he was not. So basically, this Raw was a steaming pile of crap. I didn't really like too much. Anything Jericho does is going to be gold, regardless of what it is. Other than that, enough of Kane, and yeah. And that was your Raw. Well, moving along, TNA certainly did have a show this week. Alright, I don't want to spend too much time on TNA during the show every week because, quite frankly, it's not really worth it. I am a fan, but not as much as I was a couple of years ago. I mean, if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. It's just bad. It's really bad. So, our TNA rundown is going to go something like this. We open with the Genesis recap. And basically, the only thing to speak about here is the Screwjob ending with the Jeff Hardy and Bobby Roode match. Ends in a DQ. This is 3 pay-per-views in a row where they do a Screwjob ending. There's no payoff, and the 49 fans that ordered the thing are just really getting the screws put to them. Bobby Roode comes to the ring, cuts a promo, Sting comes out, it's awful. Sting says that Roode has to give Jeff Hardy a rematch tonight for the world title. We find Matt Morgan and Crimson at the Direct Auto Insurance office. Are you effing serious with this? Because I know they're sponsored and everything, but you're gonna have a camera randomly find Matt Morgan and Crimson going in and out of Direct Auto Insurance. Come on, dude. This is just the terrible writing each and every week that you can witness if you watch this show. Morgan and Crimson versus Robbie E and Robbie T. Double choke slam. Champs win. Samoa Joe, Magnus run out. At least they're finally doing something with Samoa Joe, and looks like maybe that him and Magnus are going to win the titles. Garrett Bischoff and Gunner package. Why? These guys both suck. Garrett Bischoff has no business being in the ring. No, the only thing worse than this could be if Hogan's kid decides to wrestle. Eric Bischoff comes out, cuts a promo. His son comes out, says that you're going to be surprised when you find out who's training me. So obviously this is going to end up being Hogan. Winter and Angelina Love backstage. Both of them want to get the belt back. Looks like the 2 of them are going to be splitting up soon. We get an Eric Young and ODB package, which the 2 of these people together is pretty hilarious. I like Eric Young. I think they had a shot to do something with him as a serious wrestler. What was it, last year, a year and a half ago, and they missed their opportunity. I mean, if he's happy being the Santino Marella of the company, that's totally fine with me. But him with ODB, they're pretty hilarious together. We get ODB versus Winter. ODB over Winter with what looks like almost an F5, except she spun it in the opposite direction and didn't get the full rotation around. But it was a good move, though. It looked good. AJ Styles calls out Kazarian. Wants to know why he turned his back on him. Daniels is involved somehow. He has some sort of secret he's lording over Kazarian. I don't know if this is going to end up being like an adultery angle or what they're doing. But that would be kind of messy considering that. Then they'd have to get Tracy involved. And, I mean, whatever. Bobby Roode and Bully Ray in the back. Bully Ray wants a shot at the title. So there's going to be some friction here. And by the way, is Roode in Immortal? There's like this loose affiliation. He's with all these guys, but I don't think he was ever officially put in Immortal. But I guess it doesn't really matter. Immortal shouldn't even still be around anyway. James Storm wants a rematch with Angle. Sting comes out and gives it to him. Tells Angle that he has to go in the back and get changed for their match after the next commercial. Storm versus Angle. Storm over Angle with the super kick. Sting and Madison Rayne in the back. Sting says that Madison will have to wrestle in a cage next week against Mickie James. And this is the total difference of night and day between the Divas division and the Knockouts division. At least, the Knockout division isn't what it was a couple of years ago, but it's getting back there. And it just amazes me. WWE would never put a Divas match on as the main event, and they would never, ever, ever give them more than 4 minutes for a match. We had Mickie James and Gail Kim a couple of weeks ago. I think it went a good 15 minutes. It's such a difference in the two companies as far as the women are concerned. WWE just really seems to not care anymore whatsoever about that division. So then we go for our main event for the world title. Including with JB's introduction with a 5-hour energy plug and ad. Jeff Hardy has creepy eyes painted onto his eyelids, so he's standing there with his eyes closed, and at first I don't know that his eyes are closed. This was the one really good spot in this match. Hardy goes for a poetry in motion on the outside from the steps to the guardrail and just burns. He hits this thing so hard. Roode moves out of the way, and it's like TNA doesn't have the dasher boards with the pads like WWE does. They still have the wrought iron security rails, and Hardy just eats this thing. And then we get a bullshit finish where Hardy goes for the 3. Bully Ray pulls out the ref, stops the 3 count, and then the show just ends. There's no DQ. Another ref doesn't come out. The show just ends. No decision. Who is writing this crap? I know who's writing this crap, but why are they still writing this crap? Why is Vince Russo still on creative? What the hell is Bruce Pritchard doing down there? This is why I don't want to spend a lot of time on TNA. I watch TNA because I'm a wrestling fan, and there's guys that I like. And to be honest with you, I hope a couple of them are going to jump ship to WWE. There's rumor that Rob Van Dam is interested in coming back to WWE soon, and supposedly his contract is up in March. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing RVD in a WWE ring for a couple more years. SmackDown comes to you live on tape from Laredo, Texas. We open with a Big Show will kill Daniel Bryan package, recapping the past few weeks of the feud. Tonight it's going to be no DQ, no count out for the world title. We start off with world champion Daniel Bryan going to the ring for a promo. Daniel Bryan he's being booed. He's totally turning heel. The fans are not happy with him. A "you suck" chant starts. Bryan says that he's going to be a fighting champ and he doesn't care what anyone in the chat rooms are saying about him. How he intentionally got himself disqualified by getting in Mark Henry's face, or rather got Big Show disqualified. Then he says, "I'm talking to you, Heyman Rules 512." It's just a hilarious little dig there. It says that Mark Henry should be suspended for his actions, which brings Mark Henry out. Mark Henry proceeds to tell Daniel Bryan that he has a title shot next week. And Daniel Bryan says that he's fine with it, but he gets this little quiver in his voice. It's a really cool thing for like a little squirmy, grimy heel to do. And then we get the reminder that tonight we have the hot match of Sheamus versus Jinder Mahal. And does anyone know why this is a feud? Does anyone know why Jinder Mahal has a job? Does anyone know why they're wasting Sheamus' time with this? I mean, I know we need someone to beat up, but this guy they should have given up with the whole Khali feud and sent this kid on his way. We come back from break. We have Justin Gabriel versus Heath Slater. And we're reminded of the sad fact that the two of these together were 3-time tag team champions. I mean, this match was okay. There's nothing really much to talk about here. You have Justin Gabriel doing some little werewolf howl, so he's really embracing this whole Cape Town werewolf thing. Hornswoggle's music hits, which distracts Heath Slater. Allowing Gabriel to get the 450 with the greatest of ease, as Booker T puts it. God, I want Booker to just go full-time in the ring again for like a year and get off the announce table. But that's neither here nor there right now. We go to the back, and we have AJ and Daniel Bryan, and we find out that AJ loves Bryan. This is another thing that aggravates me. Do we need two romance angles going on at the same time? I mean, we have Ryder and Eve on Raw. We have Daniel Bryan and AJ on SmackDown. This is really taking away from Daniel Bryan's world title reign, and I hope that once he's done with Big Show and Mark Henry, they have something good for him. He needs some actual wrestlers to get in the ring with. He needs like guys like Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk to feud with to really showcase his talent. Don't get me wrong, he's doing a good job with these big guys, but I just want to see him wrestle more. Anyway, so we come back from break and we have the same Royal Rumble recap that we got before, where Austin wins in 98. And then, thank God, we have some life into this show with Cody Rhodes comes out. Everything Cody does right now is pretty much gold. I wouldn't have thought that 2 years ago that I would ever be a Cody Rhodes fan. I did not like this kid at all. And who would have thought that once Legacy broke up that he'd be where he's at and Ted DiBiase would be where he's at. Never saw that coming. Cody comes out and greets the crowd in Laredo by giving them a nice big hola. It's pretty hilarious. Plays off the fact that he knows most of them speak Spanish, and he just wants to let them know what's on his mind.
I felt the need, I felt the urge to remind you that I have been the Intercontinental Champion for 5 months. 5. You know, that's more time than any champion in the WWE of any kind right now. And in the storied history of this title, I have outshined such luminaries as Pedro Morales, Tito Santana, your friend Booker T, hell, my own brother Goldust. But in 2012, my goal supersedes being the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Folks, I am going to pull an Ultimate Warrior. That could mean many things, but what it means to me is I am going to be both the Intercontinental Champion and the World Heavyweight Champion.
This kid is so good on the mic. It's ridiculous. I love how he played off Booker with the 5 month chant, the Cinco with the 5 time. Leaving a little room for another Booker Cody match, I think. I'd like to see it at the Rumble. I mean, what else is Cody going to do? I know he's going to be in the Rumble, but I think he's got to have a match. I'd like to see him defend the Intercontinental title against some more guys before he ends up moving on to main eventing and going for the world title. I would like to see them elevate that title even more than they have in the last few months. And here's my rant on the IC title. I love what they've been doing, and they're trying to put more emphasis on that championship again. But they still have a lot of work to do. I just remember how much that title meant and how important it was when I was growing up. Like, I remember when Bret Hart first won that belt, what a big deal it was. And, every time someone won that title, it was just, you knew that they were bound for the WWF Championship someday. And, of course, you had your guys, you had your Mounties, you had your Kerry Von Erichs, you had, your Val Venuses. You had guys that just weren't that great. Your Ezekiel Jacksons, your Ahmed Johnsons. You had guys that, just didn't really live up to the hype of the title. Notwithstanding that, I think that some of the shimmer started to come off of this belt. In the Attitude Era, they had so many championships, and it really just watered down the meaning for any of these main titles. It was just too many belts. And then I think two things that really, really helped destroy the legacy of the Intercontinental title and devalued its worth were, first of all, you had Jericho and Chyna as the co-Intercontinental champion. Now, first of all, anyone sharing one title, this doesn't happen, okay? And the fact that Chyna was involved made it even worse. Not because she was a woman, because it was Chyna. Second thing is when they dissolved the IC title, when Eric Bischoff was the Raw GM, and he thought it was a great idea to dissolve the IC title. I don't know the backstory and whose idea it really was, why they thought this was a good idea, but it was terrible, and it only lasted a couple of months. They brought it right back. Stone Cold brought it back, said it was one of the most important titles he had ever won, but at that point the damage had been done, and we've just gone years and years of horrible belt styles, which that plays out a lot in the meaning of the championship. Look at the TNA belt right now, for Christ's sakes. It looks like a toy belt. Look at the tag belts. They're terrible. Even look at the WWE title belt. It's a joke. It's a giant wrap bling thing. I hated it. It's been around for about 4 years too long. I'd love for them to make a new, I want to see the Eagle belt come back personally. They brought back the old school IC belt. I want to see the old school world title belt come back, the WWF title belt that everyone from Hogan to Stone Cold wore. But anyway, that's my rant on the IC title. We get Cody Rhodes versus Ezekiel Jackson, the guy he actually took the belt from. Quick match. Beautiful disaster. Crossroads. Booker T looks a little upset about the comments that Cody was making, so I think we're going to get maybe, just maybe, one more match between the two of these guys. We come back from break. We get the Edge Hall of Fame package again. And then backstage we have Santino, who is Teddy Long's assistant. And he's telling Teddy Long about some new matches that he's come up with.
All day. All right, let me hear.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Tedidor. Well, as your new assistant, I have come up with several new match ideas that I'm sure you're going to love. I call them Santino Originals. For example, we have a cage match, but not any cage match. You see, first we have a giant cage. Inside that is a medium cage. And inside that one is a little cage. And the referee is the cage smith who created all the cages.
What are you talking about? Medium cage, referee. I don't understand none of this
I
you're
got
talking
more,
about.
trust me. And now, how about this one? You and me, we go overturn the original decision by former WWE President Jack Tunney and re-allow reptiles to the ring.
Santina, I'm not into reptiles. I don't like them, player.
I got more. I mean, there's
What?
the Italian...
How great is Santino? I got more. I don't care what anyone says. Santino's great. He just really is. And I know it sounds weird. I hate Brodus Clay. I hate his gimmick, but I love Santino. It's one of those things. There's really no accounting for taste, but Santino's the man. Otunga comes in saying that he has to go over the list of guys that are going to be in the Rumble for SmackDown with Teddy Long. Laurinaitis has given him a list of possible entrants, and they need to go over it. This somehow breeds a Santino versus Otunga match. Drew McIntyre comes in. Teddy tells him he's close to getting fired, and he has a match next. I don't know when Drew's going to start winning. He's obviously not going to get fired. I think they're breaking him down to build him up, I guess. This is kind of like when they did the MVP losing streak a couple of years back. But I'm pretty sure... I thought he would have started on his winning streak this week, but I guess we'll find out later that doesn't happen. And I guess it's going to start happening in the next couple of weeks. Maybe he'll have a really good showing in the Rumble, and that'll start the whole thing off for him. We come back from break, and we find out that next week we're going to have a Sin City SmackDown in Las Vegas. Now, I've heard on the Dirts that they're going to have the roulette wheel. They haven't advertised this, so I don't know what's going to happen. I would imagine so. Otherwise, why would they be advertising at like a Vegas theme? I mean, the wheel's all right. I just still always think back to that terrible spin the wheel, make the deal match at Halloween Havoc with Sting and Jake Roberts, where it ended up being a coal miner's glove on a pole match. It just, I mean, the concept is all right, but you have to, obviously, nowadays they have the wheel triggered. They have it gimmicked so that they can get the matches they want out of it. So we go to the ring. We have Drew McIntyre versus Ted DiBiase. And what do my ears hear? This is like a pop for DiBiase. Not like a CM Punk pop, but this is a pretty decent pop for a mid-card guy. Lower mid-card guy. DiBiase is definitely gaining some fans. He's looking better in the ring too. Drew had teleported to the ring. Hunico and Camacho come out and sit in on the announce table. And I am so sick and tired of the announce table. taken away from what's going on in the ring. You have Camacho and Hunico talking about how they make these lowrider bikes and their culture, and Booker T telling Hunico to get his feet off the table, and they're just all arguing amongst each other, and it's just, there's a match going on in the ring is the bottom line, and this is I know Vince likes the storytelling and everything. The only guy who has been able to juggle the WWE storytelling and call what's going on in the ring is Jim Ross, and I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to take him off TV and keep him off TV. They keep teasing us, and they don't bring him back. Anyway, the only notable thing I have for this match is DiBiase does a really sweet suicide dive towards the outside, pretty much into the announce table, and I definitely didn't see a move like that coming from DiBiase. Anyway, Drew and DiBiase end up struggling up on the top turnbuckle. Drew falls on his balls. Dream Street, 1, 2, 3, DiBiase goes over. Yeah. So, look for McIntyre to start winning some matches after the Rumble, I guess. We come back and we get Sheamus versus Jinder Mahal. And I have here in my notes, why does this guy still have a job? I keep saying it, and I guess I'm never going to get an answer. Someone sees something in Jinder Mahal. I mean, I guess nowadays your jobbers have to have characters, but, I mean, they actually let Mahal stand tall over Sheamus the other week, so I don't know why this is an ongoing feud. This needs to end. I gotta say, Sheamus is hands down one of the best strikers in the business right now. He is totally believable. He's not quite as good a striker as The Undertaker. I don't think anyone is, but this guy, especially when he does those like outside of the ring forearm smashes into the guy's chest, it's just, the thud is just sickening, and he's not holding back. But everything he does is believable, and he's just, I don't know where they found this guy, but he was just a great, great sign when they got him. Anyway, Sheamus goes over with the Broad Kick. We go backstage to find Big Show and Jack Doan talking about the match and for the world title later. Why? Show tells Jack Doan, don't worry about it, just when I pin him, count to 3. If I knock him out, call the match. Then AJ comes over to talk to Big Show and try to convince him to not murder her boyfriend. Daniel Bryan finds them talking, gets all upset, tells Big Show to walk away. This whole thing is funny that Bryan's like not even half the size of Big Show, and he keeps trying to push him around and tell him what to do. So Daniel Bryan then asks AJ, how much do you love me? Gross. What could he possibly want? I guess we'll find out later. We come back with another Royal Rumble recap from the 2002 Royal Rumble, which Triple H won when he came back after 8 or 9 months of being out after tearing that quad in that tag match with Benoit and Jericho. Triple H would win this Rumble and go on to WrestleMania to beat Chris Jericho for the undisputed WWE Championship. And then we get Santino versus Dave Otunga. Otunga teleports to the ring. This match is pretty much all Santino offense for the few minutes that this match was. Otunga blocks a Cobra into a Death Valley driver, which you don't see a lot of guys use anymore. And the announcers don't know the name of the move. They don't call it. They don't acknowledge it. Dave Otunga 1, 2, 3 with the DVD. I haven't really seen anyone use this since Perry Saturn years ago. But it's just, again, the sad state where none of the announcers, especially one of whom is a wrestler, they don't know the names of the moves. It's ridiculous. moving along, we get the Four Horsemen Hall of Fame package again. And they let us know that coming up next is the Funkasaurus. Oh, yeah. Why is he on both shows? We come back and we get a Raw recap, which actually doesn't take up half of SmackDown like it used to. And I can't believe this footage was in the recap. They actually show in the recap the horrible camera shot of where Zack Ryder was chokeslammed off the dock, but not off the dock. And you can see, the 4 to 5 foot discrepancy of where he should have landed and where he actually landed. I can't believe they didn't edit that out. It just amazes me, some of the stuff that sneaks by sometimes. Anyway, we get Brodus Clay versus Tyson Kidd. And this is the funny thing about this match. Far different from his appearance on Raw. Now, this is obviously taped the next night. Brodus Clay actually gets a mild pop. He gets some cheers. The fans are getting into it. And I couldn't tell on Raw because, honestly, I don't even know if Kurt Hawkins works heel or babyface. I don't watch Superstars. I don't have the time. But I guess, I don't know, Brodus Clay is a face? We have a very jacked-looking Tyson Kidd who loses in 13 seconds to a cross body block. That's right. The action from bell to bell went 13 seconds. It was 2 moves. I believe a clothesline into a cross body block. Match over. And then we get the dancing celebration with Brodus Clay and his 2 hookerettes, who I believe Naomi Knight from NXT, and the other girl I believe was on Tough Enough, and I forget her name right now, but she was, I guess, the first one voted off the show. So, Funkasaurus, yeah. So we go backstage, and another horrible segment with Teddy Long and Oksana, and she says, they're talking about the Sin City SmackDown, and how she says she loves to hit on Black. Yeah, silence, because it's just, there's no reason for this ongoing saga with Oksana and Teddy Long. Even they need to just do something or drop it. So going to commercial, we once again get the tail of the tape between Big Show and Daniel Bryan. That shows that logistically, Bryan has no business being in the ring with this man. We come back, and Natalya has teleported to the ring. There's lots of teleporting tonight. 3 or 4 matches, someone is teleported to the ring. Anyway, we have Natalya versus Tamina, which is a squash in about, I don't know, there's only a couple of moves. And once again, I raise the question, what happened to the Divas of Doom? Why does Natalya lose every week? And where in the blue hell is Beth Phoenix? I don't know. I have nothing really to say about the Divas division right now. Wade Barrett comes out right at the end of this match on the ramp and throws out a challenge to Sheamus for the Sin City SmackDown. And then we come back and get our big world title match. Daniel Bryan versus Big Show. No DQ, no countout, no shenanigans. And this is the funny thing. So they're in the ring for the introductions, and or Daniel Bryan's on his way to the ring and calls out AJ to be at ringside. Now, Big Show looks legitimately worried about this girl coming to the ring. She's 90 pounds at best. And that's going to come into play a little later in this match. The only thing really worth mentioning spot-wise, there was a really cool spear where Daniel Bryan was coming off the top rope and Big Show just turned it into a spear. I'm surprised he didn't break the kid's ribs. We got some pretty horrible-looking chair shots from Daniel Bryan. until he finally, about 6 shots in, they finally started to look good. But they're just, I miss the chair shots of old, like the Attitude Era. I know we can't do headshots anymore. That's fine, but can we at least make them look good, please? I mean, this match was fine. I actually like Big Show and Daniel Bryan working together. There's a chase. Big Show's chasing Daniel Bryan around the ring. Daniel Bryan sneaks around AJ. Big Show can't stop him. AJ gets murdered. Big Show bumps into her. She gets like steamrolled into the ground. And this pretty much stops the match. The trainers come out. Big Show immediately looks like he's gonna cry. And the funny thing about this is, as hard as AJ got hurt, as hard as she got hit, I feel most bad for her because Big Show is like standing over her and just dripping sweat onto her. And you know how much the Big Show sweats. It's gross. And this little girl is just sitting there trying to sell this injury, and he's just dripping sweat on her. It's pretty funny. The trainers, put a neck brace on her, and they stretch her up, and we got a "She's okay" chant from the crowd, which is pretty funny. And like I said, this match is just, with that, is over. There's really no finish. It just breaks down. Big Show and Daniel Bryan are walking out together following the stretcher. And Bryan is getting so good as a heel. Bryan has this to say to Big Show.
She's 95 pounds! You are 500 pounds! You are a bastard!
And the Big Show cries. And that's your SmackDown. And that's your week in wrestling. The week does end with one other thing. Apparently, we have new tag team champions. Epico and Primo beat Air Boom Sunday night in a house show in Oakland. So that's pretty strange that they've been building up to this title change, and they did it at a house show. I know it happens periodically as a way to build house show attendance, but I think it's been a few years. I don't understand the psychology in doing it at the house show. They could have just done it on TV. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. I hope there's going to be some new teams coming up for Epico and Primo to feud with. I mean, they can't just wrestle Air Boom the whole time. They need to start using the Usos. I'd like to see, not that I really want to see Camacho and Hunico in a tag team, but they need to form some teams. I'm wondering whatever happened with Chris Hero from Ring of Honor. I know Claudio Castagnoli, or whatever his name is, from Kings of Wrestling was signed, but there was a holdup with Chris Hero with his physical or something. Like I said last week, they need to do something about this division fast. Why not? I forgot to mention this. Why not have the New Age Outlaws in a short program? Road Dogg's working there as an agent. Billy Gunn still wrestles regularly. He's in phenomenal shape for a guy his age, or he's in a phenomenal shape for anyone on the roster right now. Why not bring him in and have these guys tag up for a little while? Have them hold the belts for a couple months. I think that would really raise the bar and make the belts mean something again. Like I said, just an idea. I'm not a promoter. I'm just a fan. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you actually listened, thank you. I know it's still kind of crude. My shows will get better. I'm still in the learning process here, but I really enjoy it as a hobby, and it really gives me a chance to to do what all us wrestling nerds love, and that's to talk about wrestling nonstop. And you can check us out soon on wrestlingsforreal.com. The site is currently under construction. I'm hoping to have it done in the next couple of weeks. Other than that, YouTube, Wrestling's For Real, Facebook.com/Wrestling's For Real. Check us out there. I'm really hoping to just grow this whole brand and you know, just have fun with it. And I hope you guys have fun with it too. Till next week.
I know, Sting, that it must be difficult for you to visualize an opponent that you know nothing about. I've given you clues, and you still can't figure out who the Black Scorpion is. But you've already seen what I'm capable of. So remember, when you meet me in the ring, I will be going for you, for your life. Get ready, Sting.